It is a done deal. Cuyahoga County Democratic Party Chair Shontel Brown is the Democratic winner in the special primary election for the former congressional seat of now HUD Secretary Marcia Fudge. Former Ohio Senator Nina Turner has conceded. On a day when voter turnout was only around 17%, here are the numbers. Brown has 50.6% of the vote, Turner 43.8%. That's with 90% of precincts reporting. And thank you for joining us on this primary election night. I'm Russ Mitchell alongside Betsy Kling and Laura Queso.
We have a lot of election coverage to get to, including hearing from both Turner and Brown.
We have team coverage for you tonight with Lena Lai and Marissa Saenz at both watch parties, and Mark Namick helping us look ahead to what's next in this race.
Let's begin with Lena, who is out in Bedford Heights with a very happy Brown campaign. Lena, good evening.
Good evening, guys. Yes, she likened her race to the story of the tortoise and the hare. Shontel Brown pulling off a victory in pretty much stunning fashion, because keep in mind, she was down by 35 points back in April, but then she enjoyed a late campaign surge in both the polls and in funding to now become the apparent winner of the Democratic primary. Now, earlier tonight, about an hour ago, Brown was on the phone with President Biden, who congratulated her. Also got congratulations from her mentor, Marcia Fudge. Brown is expected to go on to win in the general election in this heavily Democratic district. Brown, though, was outspent by Turner by more than 2-1. And I asked her about that. What does that say about you and where you are right now?
You can't buy confidence, you can't buy trust, you can't buy integrity, and you can't buy a grind. It's been 9 years in the making for me. So this is all of the hard work coming to fruition.
Now, what's interesting to note, Russ, you had mentioned that turnout was about 16-17%, but what is quite notable is that turnout in Beechwood was 31%, and that could actually be a record for a special election primary. Beechwood, of course, being a prominent Jewish community, clearly making a stand in this election, supporting Brown's moderate, pro-Israel stance. Nina Turner, during this campaign, was branded as anti-Israel. It'll be interesting to go into the weeds and to see just how much support out of that 31% Shontel Brown actually got, but I'd be willing to bet that that could be part of the keys to her victory tonight.
Interesting to look at. Okay, Lena Lai, thank you.
State Senator Nina Turner was Brown's top competitor and conceded her defeat just after 10 o'clock tonight. Our Marissa Saenz was there and joins us now with the very latest on this. Hi, Marissa.
Good evening, Laura. You know, despite how the evening unfolded, this watch party was full of energy from the time the doors opened to the time Nina Turner took the stage just after 10 o'clock this evening. Now, upon taking the stage, Turner used the motto, quote, "We will continue this journey, we will continue to fight," telling her supporters that it's okay to be sad tonight, but that tomorrow we must roll up our sleeves and continue to fight. Members of the Ohio State Legislature, Akron City Council, and Cleveland Heights Mayor all spoke in support of Turner on stage this evening. Turner spoke of deep gratitude for the over 200,000 donors who donated to her campaign, taking that time to also condemn what she calls dark money that hurts the progressive movement, finishing her speech with the message that she has more plans ahead.
I'm going to continue this fight. Nothing has changed. The mission is still the same. I just won't have it in the halls of Congress, but I'm going to have it in the streets.
Now, in a concession speech, Turner said, quote, "I'm going to work hard to ensure that something like this doesn't happen to another progressive candidate again. We didn't lose this race. Evil money manipulated and maligned this election." Now, after asking several times, Turner would not give specifics on exactly what she has planned ahead. She also declined to answer any questions about whether or not she'd spoken to Shontel Brown. Laura.
All right, Marissa, thank you so much for that coverage. Russ?
Laura, for a look now at what these primary election results mean and what will happen moving forward, let's bring in Mark Namick now to get some perspective here. So, Mark, this election tonight actually follows a series of traditions that take place in that district.
It certainly does. The Democratic Party establishment won, preserving its pedigree tonight, picking a moderate public official who follows the politics of her predecessor. That, of course, is Marcia Fudge, who's now President Biden's housing secretary.
Now,
Shontel Brown's victory is a rebuke of the party's left-wing politics, championed by her main opponent, former state Senator Nina Turner, who led Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders' campaign for the White House last year. While Brown and Turner both have deep roots in Northeast Ohio and in the Democratic Party, some of their policies are informed by ideological differences, exploited in divisive television ads by the campaigns and outside groups. This made the contest a national bellwether between Brown's loyalty to President Biden's agenda and Turner's support of the progressive wing of the party.
Although perhaps there was a lot of hype about the fact that this was a Bernie versus Biden race, there's no question that Joe Biden is more popular in this district than is Bernie Sanders.
In the final days of the campaign, political leaders representing both sides of this battle campaigned in Northeast Ohio. Brown's victory also continues the local history of passing the political baton to candidates blessed by traditional party leaders. Louis Stokes, Ohio's first black congressman, anointed his successor, Stephanie Tubbs Jones. Though Tubbs Jones died unexpectedly, the Democratic Party backed her ally, Marcia Fudge. A mentor and friend to Brown, Fudge could not openly campaign for her as a member of Joe Biden's administration. Low voter turnout appears to have hurt Turner, who had looked to Cleveland voters to help counter support Brown earned in the suburbs thanks to her roots and the backing of party leaders there. Either way, voters saw it as a critical election.
We need some change in our community, and we need people in there that are actually going to have that change happen.
Of course, Shontel Brown will have to run in the general election in November. The contrast between Brown and Turner, obviously very stark there. One a progressive, one a traditional Democrat. But looking to November, what does Shontel Brown have to do to reach out to Turner supporters?
She absolutely has to look ahead and talk about change and cut her own path. She has to show some independence to the party, which we know is how the party will move forward. And I think you have to keep in mind how many people came out, how much money was put into this race. Shontel cannot ignore that. I think for long-term viability for her as a candidate, she cannot just toe the party line because that will bring another progressive out against her.
Okay, Mark Naming, thank you so much. Let's talk about November now. Brown will face businesswoman Laverne Gore, who won the Republican special primary today. Gore also ran against Marcia Fudge in the 2020 congressional election. She is a native Clevelander and told us back in March that she hopes to provide a new era of leadership for the district. We requested an interview with Gore tonight, but were told she was not available. And to get the latest on the election right on your phone, download the WKYC app. There you can find interviews and more on what you need to know ahead of the November election.